it's Marley from the Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for December 2024. So on December 15th, we have two back-to-back energy shifts taking place. The first one, of course, we're going to kick things off in a big way with that full moon in Gemini energy. And of course, Mercury, who rules over the Gemini energy, currently retrograde. However, the second astro shift that is going to be taking place here on the 15th is hours after that full moon in Gemini peaks. Mercury, the ruler of that Gemini energy, is going to go direct in Sagittarius energy. So this is a pretty big deal. If you don't have your December energy guide in front of you, I'm going to recommend that you get it. You download it, that you flip to this particular section, and that you do the work in that workbook in order to unpack and uncover the options, the situations, the circumstances that you're currently divided between, and of course, do the shadow work in that particular energy guide in order to unpack the fears, the doubts, the insecurities holding you back, keeping you in a state of paralysis. Because this is a full moon event, there's also that new moon Sagittarius manifesting guide that we started a couple of weeks ago. If you don't have that available in front of you, I'm going to recommend you do that as well, because this is the full moon that is going to fully illuminate the hidden information, details, perspectives that we've been lacking in order to make an informed decision. Yes, we're trying to weigh the pros and cons of two different paths, two different directions, two different options and opportunities in our lives, and they're both favorable depending on, again, which part of self we're allowing to take the lead. This full moon in Gemini taking place at 23 degrees, so fairly at the end of this particular energy. This is a wrapping up of a 2-year chapter. We are going to have this full moon in Gemini peak at this 23 degrees at 4:01 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then hours later, Mercury's actually going to go direct at 6 degrees in Sagittarius energy. So again, in your December energy guide, there's going to be a reference to when Mercury first went retrograde. A lot has changed since then. A lot of different ideas, a lot of different perspectives, understandings, options, and opportunities. Again, we want to figure out how we're going to move on and move forward, but those answers are found in the past. So we're definitely going to have a lot of pressure in the headspace. Now, specifically talking just about this full moon in Gemini for a second, if we take a look at the energy profile, we're actually equal with fire and air. However, if we factor Chiron, the wounded healer, as a placement in this chart, we actually have fire leading. And interestingly enough, we actually have a grand fire trine taking place between Mercury retrograde, Mars retrograde, and that North Node in Aries energy, which again, we're in reflection, reassess mode, reanalyzing mode, revisiting mode, especially where new passions are overriding the path that we have been building, walking, and creating. Mars, of course, his ass is set on the bench. We have to observe how it is that we've gotten here, whether or not we want to continue to push on, push forward on this path that essentially the old version of self had built, had created, had initiated. Now we have new version of self online with new wants, needs, and desires. Our, let's call it, thirst for adventure definitely tapping on our shoulder, because again, under this full moon in Gemini, the Gemini energy is taking a good look at where it is that we're currently at and only basing our options and opportunities on what we can see, what is in front of us. Again, the Gemini energy is ruled over this lower level intellect, the lower mind, if you will, that is very connected to this present moment and the evidence, the facts, the situations, the circumstances in which we're currently facing in this present moment kind of dictates what is possible for us. But on the other side of this full moon, of course, is the sun shining very brightly in the Sagittarius energy, and the Sag energy rules over the higher mind. We, instead of being so stuck in this present moment, so reliant on the options and opportunities that can only come out of our current circumstances, the Sag energy wants us to think bigger and broader, wants us to override what is in this present moment with a hope, a wish, a dream on what could be. We're looking for a deeper truth. We're looking for a deeper meaning. We're looking for a deeper purpose that we can't find in this present moment, in the here and now. And so the teeter-totter, because that's what a full moon is, having to balance the energy of the moon versus the sun. First of all, the axis of Gemini and Sag energy is what we know, which is the Gemini energy, and what we believe in the Sag energy. What we believe to be true, what we believe we need to achieve, sits outside of the present moment, sits outside of the here and now, while what we know is only based on what we can presently see in the circumstances, in the here and now, that again, the Gemini energy really kind of pushes into our face. So this is a time where, yeah, there's a teeter-totter. Yeah, we're very confused. Yeah, we're hella all over the place with the different options and opportunities that we have available to us. May I just remind you, this is not a time to take action. This is not even a time to finalize a big decision or a choice point. What this is going to do is give us permission to move into our mental plane, the lower mind, ruled over by Gemini. Again, what we could do in this present moment to make the present moment and the future based off of this reality a better situation for us to be living in, versus the Sag energy that wants us to bust out of this environment altogether and go on a new quest, go on a new adventure. We're giving ourselves permission to move into the mental plane, to explore these options and opportunities without the pressure of having to decide, remove the urgency. May I remind you, we are but days away of moving into Capricorn season, which of course is the solstice energy, which of course is a reset of our karmic choices. And again, the urgency, the acceleration, the impulsivity that is taking over us right now is a false illusion. We do not want to give into this urgency. We do not want to rush decisions. We do not want to align ourselves in any kind of commitments at this particular point in time. It's going to be a bumpy road in the headspace over the next week as the energies intensify, pushing us into a new vibration and frequency that essentially we will be locking in as we move through that solstice energy. So this is a time of inner exploration. This is a time to explore the options and opportunities of our imagination, of our hopes, our wishes, our dreams. This is a time for us to find a sweet spot between where it is that we're currently at, where it is that we desire to be, and also a sweet spot between what we know to be true and what we believe we could achieve as long as we believe that it's possible. So it's definitely going to be a tug of war of energies. And again, to follow this up, Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, will be going direct just hours later. And of course, we're going to be in this post-retrograde shadow period until the beginning of 2025. So essentially, we need to release the urgency. We need to release the pressure. We have to stop putting ourselves in a situation where we feel like we have to figure everything out overnight, because that is not the name of the game. And in fact, if you push yourself to make a decision, if you push yourself to make a commitment at this particular juncture, when the post-retrograde shadow period is over, when we move into 2025, you will actually be second-guessing the things that you were excited about, the decisions that you made, and the commitments that you made at this particular point in time. There's going to be a backpedal energy, and of course, that is going to be creating more of a mess than any of us need to actually be dealing with at this particular point in time. So with that being said, again, I'm going to encourage you to lean into the resources that I've created, not only for this event in the, monthly energy guide, but get that manifesting guide out. Really pressurize the creative energy in your inner realm to explore the adventure, the quest that your heart, that your soul space wants you to definitely do, to pursue, to research, to explore, and to maybe even manifest, maybe even bring to life.